today we have a quick handstand routine which you can practice literally every day. I used to practice this nearly every day for at least 4 or 5 months, and it really helped me to take my handstand away from the wall into the room, and yeah, help me to develop the strength and the flexibility to do that. Okay, before we begin, what do you need? A belt would be wonderful, or a yoga strap, or something similar, maybe a towel. Be creative here. Also, a free wall space is nice. And maybe a couple of blocks, depending on where you are at your handstand. If you don't have any blocks, you can grab yourself 2 books or a little box, yeah, or something else which is good to stand on, to put weight on. You don't need a mat, it makes it a little bit more comfortable, but if you only have the floor, it's also totally fine. Okay, we start by warming up our hands and lower arms. You can do this also standing. I just do it because otherwise you won't see my hands anymore. You stretch your arms overhead and then you open your palms fully. Okay, this is state number 1. The other state is closing it to a strong fist. And now we want to alternate between those 2 states. So open as wide as you can and close. Open and close. And do this as fast as you can. We won't stay here for long because this movement gets your arms cooking pretty fast. So maybe you can feel it already. We stay here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and open. And let your arms down, shake your hands out. This movement you can practice also outside of this routine, just during the day to get like stronger hands and lower arms for your handstand. Okay, next exercise is just warming up our wrists in a tabletop position. You want to have your knees under your hips and your wrists under your shoulders. And before we start moving here, I want you to grip the mat with your fingers as if you wanted to pull it together in between them. Okay, this position of your fingers is actually the position you want to have in a handstand, because this gives you way more control over your hands and you have way more force to push away the floor. Okay, and now you start rotating your shoulders over your wrists. And try not to only do this movement from your legs and hips, but let the movement forward come from your hips, but push back with your fingertips. So you already train your strength here of this pushing force of your fingers. So try to go forward from your hips and push back from your fingers. Just do a couple more rounds. And reverse the circles. The same here. Let the forward movement come from your hips and the backward movement from your fingertips. Okay, last 2 rounds. And then find back to a seat on your shins, shake out your hands. If you are pretty new to handstands, I would recommend to do this movement a little bit longer, just to make sure you don't injure your wrists. Because when you injure your wrists, it needs like 1 or 2 weeks to get back into your training, and yeah, it's better to take a little bit more time for the warm-up. Okay, next we come to our elbows. We don't do anything special here, just rotate them for a few rounds in one and then the other direction. We actually don't use them as much because they're pretty straight and the force just should flow through them. So don't take too much time to warm your elbows up. Okay, next we come to our shoulders. They are way more important in our handstand. And for that, For the warm-up, you take your belt and unravel it. Take it wider than shoulder within distance. You will see in a few seconds how wide you actually need to grip it, and then you pull it apart and bring it over your head with straight arms. Okay, from here you want to lower it down to your butt. Oh, and here behind your back you will feel if it's too tight, you have to loosen the grip and give it a little bit more so the grip is wider, and then you lower down. Try to let this movement only come from your shoulders and keep your spine straight here. So use your abs to pull your belly in, so the movement only comes from the shoulder joints. And you go here forward and backward for a few rounds in your own pace. Okay. What's important in this movement is to pull apart the belt all the time. So you have a lot of force here in this movement. You can also take more time here if your shoulders aren't already warm enough. Otherwise, you will use the belt and grip it around shoulder within distance. So more or less 2 fists should fit between your fists here. And also pull it apart, your palms are facing down. And now you bring the belt over your head, and at the same time you want to tighten your abs, so pull your belly in. So the movement only comes from your shoulders, and go as high as you can. You can also imagine that you want to round your back here. You don't need to do it. You don't need to round it, but energetically you want to round it, and then you bring your arms overhead here as far as possible, and hold it here for 20 to 30 seconds. This is really good for your overhead flexibility. So it is pretty useful to learn for your handstand, because it helps you to stand in a straight line, and by that you to use less force, so less power. So it's basically easier to hold a handstand. 10 more seconds here. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and lower the belt. Especially in the beginning, I would recommend to do this 3 times before you continue. I will not do it now, but yeah, just do it. And you have also the possibility to do this movement without a strap on a wall. I show it shortly. You bring your hands in front of you on the wall, to the wall, and also the wrist should be shoulder within distance, and then you just lower your chest towards the floor. Keep your arms straight, and the same here. You want to pull in your belly and energetically round your back here, and hold it also for 20 to 30 seconds. Okay, the next one is we want to integrate our core. This is not as important for a wall handstand, for any handstand which is not in a free room, but you want to make sure to train your core in advance. So you it gets easier to hold your handstand when you're in a free space. A good place to start working on your core stability is in a boat position. Your lower legs are parallel to the floor. You can bring your arms forward or place your hands on the floor to keep it more stable. And then you straighten your legs and lower your upper body. What you want to keep your shoulders floating for a low boat, and then you pull back up. We do this 20 times, so lower and pull up. Lower, pull up. You want to keep your feet and your knees together in the middle. Continue for 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower down one more time and hold here in your low boat. If this is easy for you, you can bring your arms overhead and hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and come down onto your mat. Okay. Also movement you can practice a few times in a row to create more stability in your core, but yeah, if you want to keep it short and quick, this handstand routine one time is also good. Okay, so from here we come to our actually handstand work, and here it depends where you are on your journey. If you're a total beginner with no experience, start in a downward facing dog. This is basically kind of a handstand with your feet on the floor. And here you want to take a bend in your knees and now push out your shoulders and hands so your shoulders are next to your ears, and press your chest to the floor and hold this position for at least 30 seconds before you continue to the next progression. The next progression is with blocks. So it's basically a down dog with elevated feet. The same here. Take a bend in your knees, push out your shoulders so they're next to your ears, and your chest towards the floor. And you want to keep, you want to have the finger position from our wrist warm up. So you want to grip the mat really tight here. And also hold here for 30 seconds. You can continue with elevating your feet after. You can hold this for 30 seconds on a chair or a bench or something like this. And if you want to continue further, you take your handstand to the wall. And you start by coming into a tabletop position, feet at the wall, and now you start walking your feet up the wall and your hands closer to the wall. When you feel that you aren't stable anymore, you stop and hold it also for 30 seconds. Try to grip the floor with your fingers and pull your shoulders towards your ears. You can also walk closer to the wall until your nose touches the wall. And hold here for 30 seconds. Yeah, and as soon as you can hold your progression for 30 seconds, you continue to the next one. When you can hold your progression, like the wall handstand, for 30 seconds, it's time to continue and practice away from the wall. But I will make another video for the advanced training for a handstand. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you have any questions, just leave a comment. Otherwise, I wish you a good handstand journey.